All right, today on the Rams Corner Sports Podcast, we're joined by senior guard Inika Singh. Inika, welcome to the show. Thanks for spending some time with us this afternoon.
Thanks for having me.
So basketball season's about to start. So we thought like you'd be a good person to have on to sort of give us a little bit of a preview into the season. But unfortunately, we know last year was a little bit up and down. Kind of, I would say the last 2 years, you've had a couple coaching changes, a lot of just inconsistency on the court. What do you take away? What does your team take away from experience like that? And then what do you take away as a player?
Our team, well, we just take away like having grit, just learning how to adapt. Because I feel like, or the first year I played my sophomore year, there were a lot of times where like half of our rotation would have to sit out because of AP or like other reasons. So we just had to learn how to play different positions. We had to learn how to take on different roles. And me as a player, pretty much the same thing. I had to learn how to do different things that I wouldn't normally do, especially off the court, how to lead, how to be an example, and how to sort of encourage and motivate others off the court as well.
So having kind of that different role where you've played a number of different positions, you've been asked maybe to do a lot of different things. Do you think that that sort of helps with your overall continuity as a team? Do you think that could be a strength of yours this season?
Yeah, I think all the challenges that we faced really brings us together as a team. We've worked through a lot of like, for example, you said coaching changes. We've had to stick together and we've had a lot of talks on our own about the state of the game, our state of our offense and our defense and what to do. So it definitely helps our chemistry on the court, but there's still a lot of things we need to work on.
How do you discern when to be aggressive as a playmaker and a shooter and when to defer to your teammates?
Good question. I think it has to do with the flow of the game. So if the game is really fast paced, or if we're down by a lot, or if it's like fourth quarter and we really need to score, I'll be aggressive and I'll take over and I'll just try to shoot as much as possible. But if it's more slow paced and if I see our teammates sort of getting restless, I'll try to control the game in a manner that everyone gets touches, everyone gets the opportunity to shoot or play their role successfully.
So for someone who's never seen you play, Inika, how would you describe your game? Is there anybody that you model it after, especially as a lefty, someone like a James Harden or Michael Redd, Tina Mobley, etc.? How would you describe your game?
I would say I'm a shooter. It's a lot of off ball movement to get the ball, and I just try to shoot as much as possible. But sort of a new thing I've had to do is a lot of playmaking as well. So you'll see me direct other players and make important passes and stuff like that. Who I base my game off of? Sure, James Harden, back when he was going on that really big tear, when he was scoring like 30 plus with his patented step back. I tried to use his step back motion, so I tried to learn that and I play it or I use it during games like near the elbow, but mostly I base it off of because I'm a shooter, so I base it off of Klay Thompson because his shot is so sweet. It's so nice.
What is your mindset heading into your final year at CCA? What do you hope to achieve personally as a player, and what are you hoping to build or leave behind for the future of the program?
Personally, as a player, I want to try to score more, be more consistent on the offensive end, and on the defensive end, I want to be more vigilant and more conditioned so that I could do more. And then what was the other one?
What do you hope to achieve personally? Like what kind of like
Leave-
legacy do you
Oh, I want to leave behind the legacy of being a good leader. I want the underclassmen to think of me as someone they can talk to, sports related or not related. And when they have problems or successes next year, I want them to reach out to me as well.
Okay, Annika, let's play a little complete the sentence. So I'm going to give you a couple of scenarios, and you can go ahead and fill in the blanks with what would make these true. So CCA wins the BCL championship if
We all stay healthy.
senior night will be
Amazing.
Inika is named league MVP if.
She is consistent.
Okay, and now let's play around a little bit with your teammates. Okay, assuming that at this point, prior to tryouts, that everyone who played last year for the most part returns. So go ahead and tell me who you think best fits this description. Complements your game the best.
I'd say probably Bonnie because she screens my defender so that I can get open shots a lot.
Challenges you defensively.
No one.
Contributions are underappreciated or maybe not as valued or thought of maybe like others.
I would say RC because she has to usually guard the taller defender color players on the other team, and so she gets pushed around a lot.
Most likely to get a technical foul.
Me, I would say. If not me, probably RC because she talks too.
Okay, and then finally, just a couple of either or, then we'll take a quick break and then we'll make a couple predictions. So either or, would you rather make a game-winning layup or a game-saving block?
Game saving block because it's much harder to play good defense, like clean defense and clean offense.
Okay, which one hurts more, taking a charge or being elbowed on a rebound?
Probably being elbowed because if you take a charge, you can embellish it to make it look worse than it is.
And what is the more nervous shot, a game-tying free throw or a game-tying three?
Oh, free throw, definitely. Threes is just, you just do it. It's your normal motion. It just happens. Game tying free throw, everyone's watching you. The game has stopped. And it's like one small mistake, you're gonna miss it. You overthink a lot.
All right, thanks, Inika. We'll take a quick break and then we'll come back and at the start of the NBA season, we'll make some predictions for the 2023-2024 year. Welcome back to the Ram Sports Corner podcast. With us again, our guest today is senior guard Inika Singh. And so we felt like it'd be appropriate with the start of the NBA season today to make some NBA predictions, to lock them down, to put them in stone. So let's start with the most important thing on the list. Who's going to be crowned champions in June?
So from the West, I would probably say Nuggets, just because they won the title last year. It would be disrespectful not to. From the East, the Bucks. I mean, they haven't proved anything yet, but two superstars, they'd have to be up there. The Celtics would also have to be up there, even though they haven't ever proven themselves either. I'm gonna say Nuggets
Nuggets.
or Celtics or Bucks.
It's a lot of potential champions.
If I had to pick one, but yeah, because the Nuggets also lost Bruce Brown, right? Okay, I'm gonna say Bucks.
I'm going to take the Celtics.
I was gonna say
I think Denver was very fortunate that they had zero injury problems in the last year. The thing is, not that they won't be good, but I think it's really hard to repeat. We haven't seen a repeat champion since the Warriors, but even they showed just how difficult it was. So I'd be skeptical of them. But yeah, with the additions to the Celtics of Drew Holiday specifically, I'll take Boston. Who's the MVP?
I think it'd have to be again between Giannis, Jokic. I think one of those two are probably gonna take it again.
I'm gonna follow my Celtics. I'm gonna go with Jason Tatum. Only because I
Okay,
think the national media has been pushing a narrative toward
I see it.
elevating Tatum and the Celtics as being ready.
Yeah,
Even if I don't necessarily think that he's deserving of it, I think if they're the top, then I think he gets it.
actually, I agree with you because he was pretty high on the polls last year too. He was like number four, right?
Is there a dark horse for MVP? Someone outside of a Giannis or a Jokic or a Curry or or an Embiid, someone sort of outside of those top five or six guys that you think can really make a push.
I think I would say Luca because the rate that he's been going at these past few years has been pretty absurd. I think he could get on the polls for sure.
I think Luca will be top five. I don't think the Mavs will be very good or as good as they need to be. I think for whatever reason people love Luca and what he does, but in terms of a dark horse, if the Kings are where they were last year, I think De'Aaron Fox gets a push and doesn't win it, but I think he could finish top five if the Kings are top three in the West for a second year in a row.
Mm,
Rookie of the year.
Wemby.
Take Wemby. I take Chet Holmgren. What about mid-season tournament champion? First time they've ever had this in the NBA. Going to look a little different. The champion will only play one additional game, so 83 games in the regular season, but cash pool, cash prize for all the players, and then a mid-season tournament trophy to hang. Who takes it?
I think I would have to go with either the Celtics or the Bucks, just because the teams that usually win the championship are the teams that are at the top of the win loss ratio standings. So, and that's probably who's going to win the midseason tournament champion.
I'm going to take the Phoenix Suns.
Okay,
Other than I think that they can be healthy enough through December, and I'm gearing myself up for heartbreak in May or June, and so I think there's a chance that they could win it if they stay healthy. Predict Golden State's record this year.
stay around 50-50. What's it, 82 games?
I think it'll be 41 and 41,
I think so. I think they'll have 50 wins.
50 wins. So
Yeah,
50 and 32.
yeah.
I have no idea what Vegas says about them. But I'll take them as being a little bit higher than they were last year. I'll say 47 and 35.
Okay.
Imagine that a lot of them will miss time at some point, but they're still good enough to win a lot of games. Who would you say the most overrated player is in the NBA right now?
That's kind of hard because I don't really feel like, I don't know. I haven't been following media, so I don't know how players have been discussed. But I would have to say Embiid just because I don't think he deserves the MVP. For this past year, I don't think he deserved it.
Embiid was on my list, but I'm gonna go ahead and say not that he isn't good, not that when they win, he's not a key factor, but I do think Anthony Davis is overrated in how he gets discussed within the larger context of the Lakers and the NBA. So that leaves us with who's an underrated player, someone that we don't necessarily speak of in the same sort of allure of some of the other players in the MVP conversation, in the superstars of the NBA, but realistically, they're up there and we should be talking about them more.
I'm gonna say Jamal Murray because he was one of the biggest reasons they won. Or yeah, I think he was probably the biggest reason they won the championship last year. And yeah, you could say Jokic, but I feel like clutch times when the score was close, Jamal Murray was the one who was making all of the threes because Jokic just getting he was getting double teamed or he was getting tired. I feel like Jamal Murray's stamina and just the way that he proved himself this playoff season should put him in superstar status.
I can respect Murray. I'm gonna go again a little bit with a bias pick. I'm gonna say Devin Booker. And I think part of, especially within the context of the playoffs, about what he did in the NBA Finals despite losing, kind of his elevation of status, even without Chris Paul in the 64 win season. And even though they lost to Denver, and yes, that last game he was a little bit hurt, and they lost kind of similarly to Dallas that year. I think what he did, the efficiency he was playing at, the level of playmaking that he was doing was incredible. And I think that if you're not watching them and that they're not getting maybe as many nationally televised games as maybe other teams. I think there's a lack of appreciation for really what he does and how he's sort of grown into this all-around player. So, Inika, thanks for your predictions. Thanks for joining us on the Rams Sports Corner podcast. We look forward to checking back in with you and cheering on the Rams basketball this season. Good luck this year.
Thank you.